Here's what our government looks like at Elevate Him. Our Elevate Him government is a round table. There's no head and there's no foot. But you've all seen that big round table, right? Three Musketeers, remember that movie? Oh, one of my favorites with Charlie Sheen and you know who I'm talking about, Kiefer Sutherland. When they show that round table setup and you see all those swords come in, I mean, doesn't that just give you power? Doesn't that just make something rise up in you to know, in full uniform and full garb, but no head or foot, but all power and authority just surrounded that table. In that moment, when I begin to think of that, there is nothing that I can't conquer. There is nothing that we can't go arm in arm and overtake. No battle, no enemy, no amount of forces. So that's what that means to me. But that round table has no head and no foot. No one vying for position. No one pushing and shoving, trying to take someone else's seat. No one pushing or shoving or trying to establish an agenda or to move outside of that, because we are arm in arm going around. And I want you to know that as we submit ourselves to that round table government, as we submit ourselves to going arm in arm, Christ does the work. As we serve each other, Christ serves us and He creates the result. It's on Him, it's not on us. We're just endeavoring to be committed, submitted to one another as we walk through. There's one headship in Mark Owings as the founder. There's one headship, but we all have equal right, equal say, equal authority, and equal privileges, because that's how God established it. That's what our government looks like. At that round table, if you can picture, everyone has a seat. It's not their seat. It's not a specific seat, because there is no position. It's just a seat. You have a seat at that table right now. As you've committed to be here as staff, you have a seat of our round table government. You have authority. You have a position. You have all rights and privileges as being a part of Elevate Him and as we go through this event. What we're trying to help you see is that leadership in that round table government rotates. Sometimes it's Jim. Sometimes it's Brian. Sometimes it's Steve. Sometimes whoever else is there. So that leadership rotates around the room. And when that leadership is handed off from Jim to a co-facilitator or from Amy to a co-facilitator, when that leadership responsibility is handed off, everyone else submits to that leadership now. Now it's not about the person, it's about the role that they're in that moment. And we all submit as a part of that round table government, because leadership rotates around the table. And when it does, now that person steps up. Responsibilities rotate around that government. And when responsibility rotates, we all submit to the responsibility that was just given or placed. Because that's what this looks like. We're submitting to all positions at all times. We're submitting to what that looks like. Everyone has one responsibility in this roundtable government, and that's to be transparent. You have a responsibility to be transparent and vulnerable, because that's what you're committing to by being on this event. We are so prayerfully excited about what God is going to do in and through men and women, participants and staff alike, because you'd be fooling yourself if you thought you could come back to an event and Holy Spirit not reveal something new or show you something else that's going to be a part of your freedom journey. At this round table, everyone has a voice. At this round table, everyone has authority. So I hope you understand the principle, because that's what Elevate Him government looks like. And I want you to know that we don't have all the answers of what this looks like, because transparency and vulnerability gets real messy. That's the bottom line. It gets real messy. Sometimes people are ticked off. Sometimes people go in the ditch about offense and some of the different things that we've already discussed. Sometimes it gets real messy. But at the end of the day, I know that you're for me and I'm for you, and we're going to do everything we can not to give the enemy place to cause division, because our circle cannot be divided. We're walking arm in arm, and we're not going to let anybody fall behind. I told you the story about Mark and Jim. They would have shut down an event to go minister to your family. They would have shut it down. I was shocked. It's one of the best stories that I tell about what Elevate Him DNA looks like, because Mark and Jim were ready to shut down an event for 36 participants and 20 plus staff to go minister to one staff member's family that needed them in that moment. And it was beautiful. And that's what this looks like. Not only are we committed to you, but we're asking you to be committed to us, and all of us in that round table are going to be submitted to Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And it's beautiful, beautiful what God does. He never disappoints. He never doesn't show up. He always is waiting to minister to his sons and daughters.